yeah. So, well, yeah. So what is this Miller situation, Tom? Because
and
I've not seen this video.
kind of the same, more of the same, I guess you could say, but on a different note. Same song, different tune. I don't know, whatever the saying goes. Because this is something that actually predated just by a few weeks the Dylan Mulvaney situation.
It did predate. I didn't know
it
that.
did, but it flew under the radar. It was Miller's contribution to Women's Month.
So this isn't them going hold my beer.
No, technically no, but
wow,
in a weird way, it's almost worse. And I guess you'll have to see it to understand it. So yeah, you can go ahead and flip it up.
It's much worse.
Oh god! So just for a bit of clarity, guys.
So this actually goes beyond the fat people. This goes to the next level.
Yeah. So just as a bit of a context, I have not seen this yet. I've heard about it. I thought it would make an interesting follow-up to the Dove situation, but this is an advert that Miller put together prior to the Dylan Mulvaney situation. So it's not Miller saying "hold my beer." It technically, Bud was doing the "hold my beer" for Dylan.
Basically, what happened, Nate, was the Bud Light thing put a huge spotlight on everybody. Like everybody now is looking everywhere. And now they found Adidas. They have found a few other companies that have done these kind of things under the radar. Yeah.
They're going after everybody now.
Ford just came out with a gay truck.
Oh my god!
But basically, once the internet discovered this one, Miller quickly did their best to kind of scrub the web pages attached to it and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of like they were trying to hide it.
Oh wow! Okay,
once it's on the internet, it's out there forever.
Yeah. So I've not seen this, guys. So we're going to watch this together, get my live reaction. But yeah, let's have a watch of this advert that Miller put out.
Here's a little known fact. Women were among the very first to brew beer ever. From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing. Centuries later, how did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis.
And you got paid what?
Okay, so that's where it starts.
I want to be fucking lectured on. It's a bit what? Who's your market?
I just want to say that. Are we sure about that? Is like if you were to put that on Twitter, would there be some community notes disputing the information presented here? Because I kind of have a feeling it would.
There's some facts to it, because notice how she worded it. They were among some of the first people.
Yeah. They were among the first, like women were among the first people.
Because there was men and
exactly.
Shit, what else? Men and
I don't think there were any them at the time.
And they weren't paying homage, chick. They were paying those models to promote the thing. They got paid rather well.
Oh, we'll get into that because that gets even juicier as we move along.
And there's probably lots of models that tried to be that one on the picture.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, that's important, and we'll get to that because this kind of takes a bit of a turn. Because notice her face is blotched out there for one.
Oh, they're all blotched.
Well, women don't like beer. Anyway.
Well, I think the fact that they're blotching out their faces is a big deal because first of all, they're turning them basically into nothing more than just a body.
Dehumanizing them, yeah.
Yeah, dehumanizing them in that way. But I think there's more to it, and we'll get into it here, I think, as we move along. I'm curious if you have the same reaction I did. And Andre.
Look at this wild. It's time beer made it up to women. So today, Miller Lite is on a mission to clean up not just their but the whole beer industry's Miller Lite has been scouring the internet for all this and buying it back so that they can turn it into good for women brewers. Literally, good How, you ask? Ladies, take it away.
First, we turn the bad into compost. Then we feed compost to worms. Push out beautiful fertilizer. That good helps farmers grow quality hops.
But the majority of hop farmers are not women.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
And real quick, can you turn ink and paper and chemicals into compost?
Well,
I mean, isn't that normally like banana peels and like, organic?
But that was the Carry on, Culture, before I make
No. Most modern inks don't contain any kind of problems. Most papers that like advertisements or newspapers and things like that, you can definitely use for compost purposes.
Modern was the key word there, Culture. That's not the shit they're
Using
supposedly turning into
70s.
compost.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But add
real
into
issue here.
Yeah.
The real bad thing is
I want to take us back just a moment here.
Well, someone has just said it in the chat, and they said that they don't want to pay the women, so they blank out their face.
Exactly. That's part of it. We'll get to that in just a moment here. I think that might be part of it. This is the part that bothers me.
Yeah.
What's that then?
It's a shredder.
It's a shredder.
Yeah.
They are basically wood chipping these women.
Yep. They're putting those women in a wood chipper.
Erasing history.
Yes.
Buying it all
what they're
back
asking you to do, they are asking you to go into your attic and find your grandfather's Playboy collection or something like that, scour through that, and cut out all of the problematic beer commercials and send it to them so they can shred it. They are actually asking you to censor anything vintage in paper you have and send it to be shredded. They are calling for a modern day book burning.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
And now you guys mentioned the faces. It could be just because they don't want to pay the models, but there's another point.
Miller Lite has been scouring the internet for all this and buying it back so that they can turn it into good for women brewers. Literally, good How, you ask? Ladies, take it away.
First, we turn the bad into compost. Then we feed compost to worms. Push out beautiful fertilizer. That good helps farmers grow quality hops,
which is then donated to women brewers to make their own really good
But there's
okay, so there's the next part.
It's charity.
Also, exactly. But before that, she's
women are only good for charity, apparently.
Yeah, but she's factually inaccurate there as well, because worms actually are part of the composting process. They aren't. They don't feed compost to worms. They're part of the whole composting process.
But also, that's what they're doing is they're donating the money to women brewers. Now, I think it was either Culture or Mikey the other day who went and looked it up for us. And out of over 10,000 microbrewers in the U.S., 127 of them are run by women.
Yep.
Oh my goodness me!
So it's a very, very small minority.
It's just charity work. Like, who the fuck is this actually for? Like, this is clearly not an advert for men. Like, they actually drink your fucking beer.
And
goodness me.
And none of these people would, I believe, actually do the things that they're doing in real life. These are all actors.
Obviously, we know the one main chick is because we'll get into that in a minute.
Ilana. But when I look at these things, and then Tom and I stumbled upon something else. This is an anti-hot person commercial.
Yeah, it's a tractophobia commercial, much like the last one, obviously.
Phobic, to borrow someone.
There's definitely more out there in your attic, in the garage, in your parents' basement. Send any you got into Miller Lite, and they'll turn that into good too. Oh, so here's to women, because without us, there would be no beer.
So yeah, that's their campaign. But the morning that kind of made the rounds, the website was still active, and then as in the middle of our live show, it went down. Now, I don't think we had anything to do with it. I think it's just the fact that it got fire all over Twitter is what did it. But yeah, these guys are basically. I think the reason they don't have their faces on there has so much to do with paying the models. I think they're afraid people would actually identify them and then go ask them how they felt about it. Because if you ever notice, like in any of these, whenever they talk about Playboy and all these other things, they ask these models, like, don't you feel like you were used and abused when you did that? Loved it. They're like, no, in fact, I wish I still looked like that, and stuff like that. And that's the thing is a lot of these women in these ads, they made a career out of this stuff. It wasn't just doing these ads. They would go around to monster truck rallies, to fairs, to other events that were promoted by Miller, this was a career for a lot of them. So I don't think many of them would be very upset about being a part of this, but they would probably be upset about seeing themselves put through a paper shredder.
Yeah.
What an absolute crock of shit.
Yep.
This is genuinely on par with the Gillette advert, the man thing, because it's just, this is your target. Women don't drink beer, okay? But
Are you
your audience is men. Your market is men. What are you doing? Why?
Well, and this is what goes along with the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing, right? Like,
I don't understand.
It is completely, and it almost kind of parallels a lot of the other stuff we see in Marvel and Star Wars and all this other stuff. Is like, you are literally telling your primary audience to F off.
Yep.
And not only that, they should feel bad. Like,
and you're literally saying this is bad shit. What's bad about a bunch of models? They loved the way they looked. They got in bikinis. What's wrong with bikinis?
Well, apparently, again, she's not upset about swimsuits. Look at her rocking this.
Yeah, because that's the other thing, Nate, is she has been in plenty of skimpy outfits and other things.
And naked. And then naked. I mean, lots of naked. She's done lots of naked stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's an actress.
Well, I bet she got paid handsomely for it as well.
She's supposedly a comedian, but I've never ever laughed at her in any way. This might be the funniest thing she's done, and not for the reason she wants it to be.
It's just,
I think we broke Nate.
I just don't understand what these companies are doing. I don't understand. Like, did they all suddenly hire the same dipshit moron from marketing, and that same dipshit moron was like, I know what we're going to do. I'm just going to piss everyone off. Like, it's such a bizarre. You got to remember, like, the thought process that would have cost money. They'd have set it up. Would have written a script. Would have been.
I can explain that.
Yeah, I was going to say Andre could probably explain it. But I mean, I don't know if there's a term for it, but coming from the advertising background that I had, I would say it's most likely something called shame advertising or something like that. What do you think, Andre?
Well, here's the thing. It's not literally the same person, but it might as well have been. Because I can tell you exactly who is behind this. And this is another woman, of course, who's behind this marketing campaign. And I don't recall her name right now, but she is also educated at a high-profile university where much emphasis is placed on ESG. And people like these are promoted by the investors behind the scenes who demand that these companies, if they want their credit lines, they need to get their ESG points in order. And if your ESG points are lacking, well, here's are some HR and marketing personnel that you can consider hiring. They come from these universities, and if you hire these people with these courses, they will know how to change your company, both in terms of personnel and in terms of strategies, to increase your ESG score so that you can get those credit lines still. And you wouldn't want anything to happen to those credit lines now, would you? And that is how you suddenly get marketers with ESG training, because company has to put them there, and they hire more people like themselves. Remember, this is what Alyssa Heinlescheit said in her interview. She was all about women and diversity and opportunities, and given opportunities to people that otherwise wouldn't have them, meaning diversity hires, and people who think like her, meaning the same ideology. So that way you gradually fill these marketing departments with ideologues. And not only that, these people, they're connected. They get like these newsletters and stuff like that. Like, oh, here's the newest fad and the coolest thing. Now we're all about like women or changing history and stuff. And then like, oh, great. this is what we're going to do for our next campaign, because that's the thing to do right now, because I got a newsletter that told me. That's how these things happen.
These people are fucking insane. Like, legitimately insane. So what's been the backlash surrounding this? What's happened? Has their stock tanked as well?
Well, culture, has there been any effect there yet? I know this is something that just kind of came on the radar this week. So
yeah, it would be hard for me to say that there was a cause and effect here, because the market's been headed downwards, especially in beverage brands like this week. Andre, can you comment on that at all?
I haven't had the opportunity to follow the share prices. I do not expect a major dip on this, because Bud Light is easy. And Anheuser-Busch is easy. I think it's going to take a bit for this to go as viral. I would not anticipate Miller having the same kind of effect, although it should.
Well, I think they've been taking greater strides to try and distance themselves from this, unlike with the taking down of the website and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
Theoretically, since May 15th, the stock has been going down. Looking at the 5-day. So, it started up at 64.43. It's now sitting at 61.83. So it's gone down, $3. So, yeah.
So not bad. Not by comparison, then.
But it's trending the wrong direction. And we're starting to see volume shifts into lower volumes of trades. When during the sell-off, you saw some pretty high volumes of trading. When you can usually see, and correct me if I'm wrong, Andre, when they're trying to artificially elevate something, they wait till mostly the end of the day or just after the market close, and then they do just enough volume of a trade to get it back up to an acceptable number.
So typically they do that, yes. Where you should be worried is if you suddenly start seeing Miller beer on sale. If you see that, that's when you know they're in trouble, because that means that they are seeing a decline, and they are desperately trying to increase their volume so they don't have to report a decline in any kind of earnings call or something. That's why you see Bud Light right now are giving all of these rebates and discounts and what have you, because they don't want to report actual numbers earned, but they want to be able to report that units sold are back up, even if they practically have to give them away. So they're using every single kind of trick in the book to try to make their numbers look prettier. If we see any kind of such tricks on Miller beer, that's when you know that they're in trouble too. But I honestly wouldn't anticipate that, although it really should, because it's the same basic problem here. But so basically, if you're a beer drinker, if you want to play it safe, get a local microbrewery. That way
100%.
That way you are safer. You'd also be supporting local industry rather than these huge corporations that ultimately are owned by the same 100 people. So
and they're nicer too. Microbreweries are always nicer. Less shit in there.
Yeah. Absolutely. I prefer my microbrewery when possible.
But, well, speaking of which, Andre, fucking just for you, son. Vikings blood mead.
Nice. Very nice.
Legit, I did that today.
There's actually talking about microbreweries. There's a local one here in Birmingham, Alabama, called Avondale Brewery, and they are getting just slacked right now because they canceled Ted Nugent concert because the woke snowflakes on the left were screaming at them about not letting him play there, so they canceled his concert and bowed to the wokey left people, and now everybody in town is completely cutting them off. Nobody's going to their brewery. It's an absolute complete disaster for them.
That's ridiculous.
And then on top of that, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but Target stores are now getting trashed now because they're promoting trans-friendly and pride-friendly clothing to kids.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And now Target is getting trashed on right now. So these large corporations and even like the microbrewery here local to me, I don't know how many examples they're going to have to see before they're like, maybe it's not a good idea for us to get into this political, cultural thing, and maybe we just stay neutral and don't say anything and just make our product and try to make it the best that we can make it and sell it to everybody.
Well, you think that was the thing, wouldn't you? You think that's what everyone wanted to do, but apparently not.